You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to up-level that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
That actually brings up another question that I have that I've been asked by many people. You know, when do you fight for a relationship and when do you let go? You know, being in this space of like choosing, willingness, that kind of thing. When you are like, can't do this anymore.
I believe that for me, my highest value in life is my own soul's evolution, like the own expansion, my own, like, as a human, as a soul, as a spiritual being in this human body, like growing, evolving, like living, feeling, like that is to me the point of life right now. At least that's my current belief system. And so the moment that it feels like the relationship is actually not the place for that, the moment it feels like there is more of that available outside the container than inside of it, is when I personally feel like the relationship is no longer serving my own personal highest alignment and purpose to life. And as someone who is in a 10-year relationship, that relationship was the most expansive place I could possibly be for 9.5 years. And we got a lot of angry messages when we broke up, because the breakup was quite public in a lot of ways. We broke up basically on my podcast and released it to the world. And so what I felt during that time was, and what we both felt was, like, it didn't have to be wrong. The relationship didn't have to be fighting and hating each other, and like there was nothing inherently wrong. We got so many angry messages because people were like, how can you throw away love and all of this stuff, and you're supposed to work at it when you find someone that you love. And it's like, we had to for 9.5 years. It's not like it's just all unicorns and butterflies to be together for 9.5 years. There was a lot of working through stuff. But what we both felt was like we had reached a point where our own evolution and our own growth was better served outside of the container. And that was the first time in 9.5 years that I had ever thought, that's not true. Outside of the first 3 months, there was a little shaky 3 months in the beginning. Outside of those first 3 months, for 9+ years, I never once thought about breaking up. Literally, it was when we had an argument, it was, okay, how are we going to work through this? But it was always a we working through it because we were going to stay together. It was the first time. And in the inquiry of that, around that, we both just felt like there was more growth available to us, and our highest value, again, this is not for everyone, but this is for us, our highest value is our growth and evolution. And so that's how I look at it. I think that your highest growth and evolution can be in a monogamous relationship. It could be in multiple open relationships. It could be completely single. But I will continue to value that above all else. And I guess that's my evaluation. I would be curious to hear yours.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is there's this intention behind relationships is a container for growth. And that's what I always ask my clients, you know, when they're in that ambiguous question of what does relationship mean for you? What is it? How do you define it? And so from that space, we can identify whether this continues to be in alignment with, you know, is it in alignment with your values? I also have them look at, you know, is the person off the table-itis, you know, are they willing to work through these things, or do they just keep taking the shit off the table so it doesn't get addressed? So there's so many layers there, but for me, a relationship is a container for growth. And that when it becomes no longer conducive for growth for me and the other person, then we would have that conversation of like, okay, so perhaps we're in moving in two different directions.
And understanding that,
that's okay.
We can't not grow.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything is ever changing. We are growing, but where most people, I think, will stop is the safety of a relationship container becomes the highest value. Like it becomes, I feel secure. I feel safe in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go into the scary unknown of singledom. So I don't want to leave the relationship, even though there's an innate calling where they're like, I feel like I could grow more as a person outside of it.
Yeah.
And and that's okay. If safety and security is your highest value,
Mm-hmm.
then that's great. You stay in the relationship. But if something else is the highest value, if expansion and growth is that thing, and you feel that more is out there, if adventure and whatever is, and in your relationship your partner's like, yeah, I don't want to travel and I don't want to do this, but like your highest value is adventure in life, then as the longer you stay in a relationship that isn't meeting your highest values, you're out of integrity with yourself. And I think that's the thing that really eats away at me personally, and with a lot of clients that I've worked with, when they're in a relationship that is no longer serving them, they don't realize that it's that aspect of being out of integrity that's the thing that's eating at them, that's making them judge themselves, that's making them hate what they're doing, that's making them not enjoy the chapter of their life, and wear a lens that is detrimental in a lot of ways to what they want to see, because deep down they feel out of integrity with their own self. They're not listening to their heart or their soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll add to that, like, healthy love is actually a sense of security and safety. It's where our nervous system is not in a consistent fight or flight or freeze response. And it's not to the expense of these values of yourself or things that you want to create for yourself. So I see that not as like mutually exclusive, but both and.
Yeah, and I would wonder, can you have it? Can you have both? So meaning, if you're out of integrity with yourself,
Yeah.
is the safety and security actually there, like in your own self? I know for me, if I feel out of integrity, like there's no safety and security. Like my nervous, like I'm a bit of a wreck if I feel out of integrity. And if I feel out of integrity in my relationship with friends, if I feel whatever, if there's a part of me that's like, what did I do? That doesn't give me the ability to calm my nervous system.
Yeah. And so on that, I would say that there are certain more attachment tendencies. Like when we look at the scale of attachment, there's avoidant and there's anxiety, and we fall along the spectrum of those things. It's not just one or the other. We're along the spectrum. So for somebody who has a higher level of anxious attachment, they will tend to adopt the needs of the other person, or take on the identity of or whatever is more conducive for the other person, and put their own self to the side in order to maintain the safety and the security of the relationship. So I would say in that regards, yes. And a lot of times I will work with them and they don't have that intrinsic desire to go out and explore in the world, because in their nervous system, it is a lot more important for them to maintain the relationship, the attachment with this other person, than it is to explore and develop themselves and like walk out into the world. And that's just that particular person.
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better, so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.